Only been a few hours, but it felt like days. Only been days, but it felt like months. Been gone for a year, only go like once. Move fast when you do what you want. At this time, doing what I want. Hope you doing what you want. What you want.
What's going on, people? I am your host, Say One History, and if you are tuned in with us today, you are here for the male's perspective. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can be updated for all cool new content. We have a brother that's coming on the line with us today who's going to give us his dating history and why he decided to travel abroad. Let's get into it. All right, so we're going to jump straight into it. First off, man, I just want to thank you for coming in. I know we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier here, and, you know, I wanted to get you on the channel because you told me a little bit about your story. But for everybody out there that doesn't know you, could you just give them your name, let them know who you are, of course?
Okay. My name is Finn. I'm from Pennsylvania. I'm 45 years of age. Here on my friend's podcast, and gonna give a little bit of my story about life, about dating, and finding new paths in life, and options, as I can say. You know.
Now, Finns, I want to say too, me and you are close to the same age. I'm 42. You said you're 45 years old.
hmm
You know, so we come from that cloth right there, you know, where, you know, you had to pretty much take care of yourself, you know, and just, you know, kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Uh, Not expect too much from people. You
Yeah,
know,
you
like,
can't. Yeah, you
yeah,
can't depend on nobody.
yeah. So, you know, I want to ask you here. You said you're from Pennsylvania, right?
Yes.
So how was that? How was growing up in Pennsylvania? First off,
Um, Let me put it this way. I had a pretty good childhood growing up. Both my parents, they worked. They both worked for the city. Me, I had two other siblings. My father, he had a son from a previous relationship, and then he wound up marrying my mom. They were married for 45 years. We had a good family structure. Went to Catholic school all my life. I had a pretty good life, man. I can't complain. I mean, of course, growing up in North Philadelphia, where I grew up in,
hmm
um, I had a good life, man. I can't, my parents
Vince? What?
installed in me and my brother morals, ethics, to know how to treat people the way you want to be treated,
hmm
and And I tell you, I miss that. You know, my parents
Right.
are deceased now, but I miss having that family structure during the holidays. Like I think I told you that before.
Yeah.
Cookouts, family get-togethers, and it seemed like now, well, my grandmother, she passed 6 years ago, well, 7 years now. She was 100 years old. My mother, she passed away
Hold on.
almost
Wait a
nine
minute.
years
Wait
ago.
a
My
minute, Finn.
father, he's
You
been
said
gone
your
now for about 13 years.
hold on, Finn. You
But
said your grandma was 100 years old.
100 years old, bro. 100.
Wow, that's beautiful. And my
Yeah,
condolences to your mother and father,
appreciate
man.
it.
Um, wow, that's
Yeah, and
crazy.
she didn't, and she just died of heart failure, man. She had all her senses. I have an aunt right now that's in Virginia. She's 98, still going strong.
That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful.
Yeah,
It sounds like
yeah.
your family takes care of themselves, man. I mean, what are the eating habits like and whatnot there? Do you
You know what? For me, this is the way I look at it. My grandmother, she ate what she wanted to eat, but she ate in moderation. Like she didn't drink, she didn't smoke
mm-hmm.
all her life. She didn't eat a lot of starch, fried food. She ate a lot of baked. I tell you, my grandma ate a lot of baked fish, brown rice, which is unheard of growing up in her times, back
Mm-hmm.
in the 30s and the 40s. But she was in pretty good health, man. And like I said, she didn't eat a lot of junk. So,
Gotcha.
and I think that just cooling down, and it was bred in my mom and to me and my brother. And a couple years ago, I was weighing like, for me personally, I was weighing almost like 200 pounds,
Mm-hmm.
like 190. And when I went to a doctor, I'll never forget my doctor told me, he said, Aaron, you're going to have two choices. Either you're going to get on blood pressure medicine or you're going to get a gym membership. So, so I got the gym membership because I already knew once you start taking blood pressure medicine, yeah, you already know what happens after that. That's
Yep.
you're not going to be able to function properly in some ways. And you know
Yep.
what I mean. So I, I got the gym membership, and I go to the gym just about every day.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. I got my own gym in my garage, and I'm out there
Okay.
trying to lose these pounds right here. But we get into that another day.
You
um,
good, man?
I wanted to ask you though. You said growing up in Philadelphia, you had a good life, man. You had a two-parent household, which is great.
Yeah.
That's something that you really don't see a lot in these days now in the black community. So I commend your mother, for and your father, of course, for making
Thank you.
sure that they made that work, man. My mother and father did the same thing. We were out of the house before they had actually got divorced, so it hit us, but not like it could have hit us. You know what I mean? We were all grown at that point in time. So my respects, they did their job. Um, so I want to ask you though, growing up and having that good upbringing and having a two-parent household here, what was the dating scene like in Philadelphia for you? What was your experiences there with the women?
Okay. I'm gonna tell you. I would say dating in the '90s. To me, a lot of, and I'm talking about our women, African American women, it was it was pretty cool. I mean, like a lot of back in the late '80s and '90s, they still had that family structure. But it
Mm-hmm.
seemed like to me things started to change. I would say around like 2004 up until now. It's like it's a shit show now. Excuse my language.
I would agree
But
with you.
um, to me, that's when things started to change. And now it just seemed like to me, the modern American women, they don't want to cook, they don't want to clean.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's just they want everything. It's like I think with social media, them brainwashing and pours in their minds, so they think, oh, you're supposed to give me this, you're supposed to give me that, and
Mm.
you don't supposed to get anything in the table. Like, what do you bring to the table? I mean, especially,
Hey,
I look
hey,
at,
hey,
I
Fins,
work for the
Fins.
state.
Hey, Fins,
I
don't
own a
use
couple
that word.
properties. I worked hard for everything I had, being in the military.
Mm-hmm.
And I meet a woman, and you don't have anything, and then you telling me, oh, I don't need to have anything. You need to
Mm-hmm.
give me, give me, give me. Okay, but what am I supposed to get in return? You're telling me, I know some people that's married, the
Mm-hmm.
American women, they don't cook, they don't clean, they don't, and the guy, he pays all the bills. And then even when it comes to sex, one of my friends told me, oh, well, I only have sex 3 or 4 times out the
Oh no, no. Hey, you know what? Hey, I was gonna say, Fins, don't use that word table. That's a trigger word for these women in the states. So,
hey, hey,
hey,
man,
this is gonna come out.
it's the truth though.
You,
You gotta. I mean, like, you can't sugarcoat anything. You
Fins,
know.
I'm trying to save you now. This is gonna come out, and they go they go get on you, man. They all you using the
Hey,
table.
it is what it is, man. Yeah.
I'm in
And don't get me
danger.
wrong, there's some good American women out here. It's just that
Mhm.
it's like finding a needle in a haystack.
Yeah,
You
yeah, I
know.
agree. I agree. Me and you were talking earlier before we actually, did the recording and whatnot. And, you kind of touched on it too when you were talking about the family structure in the household. And a lot of people, uh, women, of course, in the States particularly, they think men are going over there because, the women, they look good and because, of the sex. And of course, those are all things that are part of it. But I think one thing that they're not talking about, and this is something that I've already been talking about on my podcast literally for months now, and you
Hmm.
just brought it up organically. We didn't have a prior conversation to this at all. We weren't talking about it. It just came up in your conversation, and you were talking about the family structure, and how it's decayed, not just so in the American society, but particularly in the black community.
Of
And
course.
I would say, this is something that I've experienced, and I know, it was something that I yearned for. And even, when I went over and got married, man, you know, my wife, she doesn't understand how good she has it. With the family structure still being there and still being readily available. And it's just sad because, we were talking again and we were saying that, families don't talk. We can go literally for years without having conversations. I've experienced that, you know, uh, yelling, arguing, bickering. And then you go overseas and you see these people being able, still having those issues, but being able to work through them, even living in the same house, man.
Correct.
Yeah. And I know that's something that I long. Can you talk about that a little bit more? Because I know you were saying that was something that you really appreciated as well too.
Yeah. When I met my fiance, um, I liked when she introduced me to the family and they all welcomed me. Well, like I was like they knew me for years,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody offered me greetings, how you feeling, you need anything,
Mm-hmm.
and we're not used to that anymore. So I
Yeah.
was a little overwhelmed. I'm like, man, these people, is this some type of ulterior motive? Like, I mean, they all nice
Right.
to me
Hey, you
and
think
treat
it's
me good.
you think it's like a we were saying this too. It seems too good to be true, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely,
Um.
man. And I tell you, with her family, man, I tell you, last summer when we went to go see her, and it was her aunt's birthday. I'll never forget this. They had the karaoke, I know you know about karaoke and everything
Oh
they
yeah.
do.
Oh yeah.
They had the cake and everything, and I just like how the family just came together and singing and playing cards, watching
Mm-hmm.
basketball, I was playing video games, and I'm saying to myself, I miss having that. It brought a tear to my eye.
Yeah.
I actually was a little emotional. I'm saying, I miss this. I used to have this.
Yeah.
And now I don't have it anymore because now with the matriarchs of my family passing away, like my parents, my grandmother, everybody in my family went their separate ways. It's like
You,
everybody like are in little cliques.
you know what?
I'll give you an example. I have a cousin of mine who just got married
Mm-hmm.
and wonderful wedding. And everybody in my family, they say the same thing over and over again. Oh, we need to get together. We don't never get together. We only get
Mm-hmm.
together if it's a death in the family or if it's a special event. And even at the special event, everybody just seemed disconnected. Now, like with
Yeah.
my fiance, it didn't seem, when I'm around her family, it's a connection.
Yeah.
It's almost like a community. Even with the people in her province, you can tell it's a community.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody everybody just gets along. I mean, I
Yep.
don't know if you experienced that when you was there, but that's what I
I
experienced.
did, and we kind of skipped past this, but you are going to the Philippines pretty soon, right?
Yeah, actually, I'm going August in August
And you're going over there, and you're getting married too, right?
in January. We're doing that in
Okay,
January.
so first off, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I want to say this to you. Congratulations, brother.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Congratulations again, man. Yeah, that, I want to speak to that as well because, yeah, when you travel, you do notice that difference in the community. You do notice that difference with the family. And
Yes,
ladies in the states, this is no disrespect, or this is no, kind of like a dig on you or whatnot. But men men do want that. Men do want a family structure. And if even if we can't get it from our family, and let's say your family is like that too, we at least want to be able to create that with the family that we're going to ultimately create with you. But if we're having friction, if we're having inconsistent patterns in the relationship, 9 times out of 10, and correct me if I'm wrong, Fins, when I say this, we will stay with you because we, let's keep it real, have access to sex. But
yeah, of course.
I know for me, in the back of my head, I've always thought, I'm not, I'm not doing this marriage thing. There's something missing. There's something missing. Something is wrong here. Your spidey senses is up, and you don't put yourself in that predicament because you know it's kind of like being in the military. You don't go, downrange, when people are still, pointing their weapon that way. We
Hmm.
know that there's something wrong. We know that, there's some hint of danger. And until
Yeah,
all that has dissipated, uh, we're not going to we're not going to embark on that next level with you. And to
that's
all
true.
those American women that are out there and they're like, man, we've been together for 3 years, we've been together for 4 years, some of y'all been together for 10 years. This man has analyzed you. he has he has all the information he could ever need about you. And in the back of our heads, we are just waiting for you to just change one or two things up just a little bit, and it never happens. And
It
the
never
crazy
happens.
thing about it is the woman ends up leaving. The woman ends up leaving because 80% of relationships and divorces actually happen with the
Leaves by
woman.
women.
Yeah, with the woman leaving, but it ends up ultimately being the best thing for men, especially in this new generation, because men are traveling abroad. So,
Yeah,
one other thing I do want to ask you here, Fins. Um,
mm,
I know you know about the passport bro movement. I would
of
consider
course.
myself a passport bro. Would you consider yourself a passport bro, or would you just say I'm just out there, just experiencing life and trying to find my love? What would
Yeah,
you?
I'm just out there experiencing life because I've been traveling since 2000. My first trip abroad to Africa was back in 2014, and I went
Okay,
to Ethiopia, Kenya, and Tanzania.
so
That was
let's
before they even thought about passport, bro. So
so let's
no, I don't
talk
consider
about
myself
this.
a passport, bro.
Let's talk
No.
about this really quick. You said that you've been over to Africa, right?
Yes, correct.
And I'm sure you got a chance to see all the beautiful women out there. What made
Yeah.
you not, date a black woman? Because for the black women that are here in the States, they're going to say, well, why didn't you get with a black woman? What happened there? So, go ahead and give them that aspect. What happened there? Why didn't you?
Okay, for me, this is the thing. I dated two African women. One I married. I married a girl from Ethiopia. Um, Things seemed pretty cool. We dated for almost 2.5 years. We decided to get married, here in the States, here in Pennsylvania. And it seemed like once we were married, everything changed. She told me she didn't know anybody. All of a sudden, you have family here in the
Mm-hmm.
city, you have family in Washington, D.C., you have family in California. Everybody, everybody was in her ears, and it just seemed like all of a sudden she didn't want to work, she didn't want to do anything, she didn't want to go back. And, I was just lucky to get out any damage. So, and I'm not saying. Let me put it this way: I can't say all African women are like that,
Mm-hmm.
but from my experience, the one I dealt with, my ex-wife, it didn't work out. And then the girl I dated before her, I dated a girl from Kenya,
Mm-hmm.
and she had a son, and it seemed like to me she knew more about immigration than I did. And I said, nah, it was just red flags there.
Yeah, your spidey senses
And
was going up.
yeah, the fence, the fence came up. So, but don't get me wrong, Africa's a beautiful continent. Like I said, I've been to a couple of African countries: Kenya, Ethiopia,
Hmm.
Tanzania. I've been to Ghana, and I've been to Nigeria.
Yeah, and keep in mind, I just want to say this too, um, to the ladies out there. They think that we are going and we're just saying, because a lot of them will say, "Oh, it's colorism. He's going out there because he wants to try something." It's not the color because before I was
It's
married,
not the color.
it's not at all. I tried. I've dated nothing but black women in the states, and when I
Same
decided
here.
not to talk to black women in the states, I immediately went over to trying to talk to black women in Africa.
Hmm.
And when I didn't find what I was looking for, then I accidentally stumbled on the Philippines. And I want to ask you that too, Fins. What made you ultimately decide on the Philippines? Like, how did you
Okay.
meet your fiance?
I met her through a mutual friend. One of my friends I grew up with. He retired from the post office. He moved to the Philippines. He moved to Manila, and his wife's girlfriend. That's how I met my fiance. And he has a good marriage. And then I have two coworkers. One of my coworkers, he married a girl from Korea,
Mm-hmm.
and then another one, he married a girl from Cambodia, and they had wonderful marriages. And they all talk the same thing that we're taught: family structure,
Mm-hmm.
and the family structure is important. And I think that's what really made me think about dating her, and I don't regret it now.
Hmm.
I wish I would have met her before I met my ex-wife.
Let me ask you this: when you met her, how long in between that time when you first met her? What was that
Mm.
in between time that it took until you proposed to her?
Um, once, if you ask me about what made me propose to her, um, of course, she's family oriented. She's a go getter, and she always will always think about me first. Anytime if I'm sick or anything that's going on in my life, she always will put me in the center. And I say to myself, this is a good woman,
Hmm.
And she never asked me for anything financial.
Hmm.
Like I will offer her. I say, "But you need me to do something?" No, I'm okay. I'm okay. I don't need anything.
Almost like
And,
she would,
and, and to this day,
almost like she would get mad at you for trying to give her something, right?
asking, yes, correct,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
correct, correct.
Yes, yes, sir. I can proclaim witness to that experience as well.
Hmm.
Um, and 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 if you had to ask or if you had to say, what are some of the intangibles that she had? Because men don't take marriage lightly, and I'm sure there were
We
women
don't.
in your past that wanted to get married or talk to you
Yeah,
about marriage, and
yeah, but
you
I
said
couldn't.
no and you couldn't. What
I'll
were
give
some?
you an example.
Okay, okay.
All right. Now, I'm not bringing up any names, but I had an ex girlfriend of mine, African American. She never wanted to cook, never wanted to clean. Always had attitude about it, about certain situations. She always wanted designer bags, clothes. Always wanted to take all these expensive trips,
Mm.
but you don't have any money to take these trips. But you expect me to flip the bill,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, well then your credit's bad. Oh, could you put a car in my name? Like
Oh,
crazy stuff, bro.
not the car. Not the car.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Could you put a car in my name? Are you kidding me?
You know what the
I'm not
crazy
doing
thing?
that.
Look, Finch. You know what the crazy thing about what you just said is that I've experienced that situation twice. Twice, a woman has asked me to put a car in her name. One time I
Nah.
said no because I didn't know this girl. It was I was just like hell no. The other time I was in a serious relationship, we were living together. I said yes. And I wish to God that I never did it. I wish to God
Wow.
never did it. But again, this just goes to show, and I'm gonna keep stacking onto this, is that women out here, they always say, oh, it's not all women. I get, we understand. I'm sure Finns understand. I understand. Men out there understand. It's not all women, but it's a majority of you
It's the
women.
majority of them. I say it's at least 80%.
Right. Because look, if I can tell you that I've had two situations like that, if he can tell you that he's had situations like that, come on. I mean, this is happening more than it should be happening. And a lot of women out there are proclaiming that they're good women. And I don't really think you are correctly, like, identifying the definition of what a true woman is and what it means. It's not to say that you're a bad woman, but it's just
Yeah.
you, I hate to say it, but it's the truth. You're not qualified for marriage, because if you were,
No,
then men would be flocking to marry you. But
that's right. And that's right.
no, go ahead.
Totally
Go
agree.
ahead. Go ahead, brother.
No, no, because I'm gonna tell you something. One of my coworkers, this was a couple of weeks ago, right? He told me he met a girl. They went out like 2 dates, right? So first thing he told me, he said he was going to surprise her. He said, "I'm gonna take her to this Brazilian steakhouse, Finn's, and we're gonna have a good time, and then I'm gonna plan a trip to the Pocono."
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He told her about it, and she told him, "Well, why can't we just go to Jamaica or the Bahamas? Well, you being cheap." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" And he was dead serious, and he showed me the text message. I said, "Wow, so you can't make this up, man."
Rest in
I
peace to
said, "No
Kevin
way."
Samuels, man. Rest in peace to Kevin Samuel.
Yeah, rest in peace, Kevin Samuels,
God,
because it's ridiculous, man. And
God,
and and I don't understand how our women got so delusional
because they
over
weren't like
the
that.
years.
They weren't like that before. Look,
No,
the best way I can describe it, Fins, is remember that movie Bronx Tale?
yeah, that's a good movie too.
Our women were like that, like really sweet, demure,
Yeah,
had their own natural hair, didn't
yeah,
wear a lot of makeup. If they
yeah.
did put
I'm
makeup
tired of the
on,
makeup and the fake eyelashes.
yeah, man, I want to see what I'm working with. And look, even back then, this Bronx Tale was before my time. So even back then, the women was still a little our women were still a little spicy, but it was still okay because they were still
It was okay.
feminine. They were still
Yeah,
feminine. They never
yeah.
lost their their
Their
their
way.
yeah, they never lost their way, they never lost their culture, their
No.
their ability to talk or give their personal opinions, but they were still feminine. And that's just
Yeah,
not what we see today.
you don't
um
see it. No, no.
I know when
No.
I stopped talking to the woman that I was in a relationship with in the States here, it took
Hmm.
me about a year and a half before I ended up proposing to my now wife. How long did it take
Okay.
you when you first start talking to your Filipina to actually get married, what was that gap in between?
I say it took me about a year, about the same time, about a year. Because once I started seeing how she interacted with her family, and another thing that I like, when her aunt that lives in Arizona and her cousin that live in Oregon, like I said, they call me or text me once a week to this day. How you doing? How you feeling? I'm like, come on, bro. I can't pass this up.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's a good woman, man.
yeah.
And I like how she thinks. And for me, honestly, when I retire, I want to retire in another 6 years.
Hmm.
And when I retire, I'm planning on moving. We're planning on moving to the Philippines.
Look,
Yeah, so she's only going to come here for a couple of years. Then we out of here. Uh,
Finch, you're telling my story. You're telling my story, bro. I'm serious. Uh, because my wife is moving here, and I've said the exact same thing. I told her, look, you come here for 2 years, we stacking up some bread, we
yep.
off to the Philippines. We off, we going. So
Yep.
I look, hey, I know who to reach out to when I'm over in the Philippines now.
Yeah, yeah, brother. You got a friend for life, man.
I'm gonna give you.
Yeah, cause
I'm definitely gonna
yeah,
give
'cause
you a ring.
yeah, man. Because we're looking at. I was thinking about like maybe, I think it's called Baguio City. It's almost like the Poconos here.
Hmm.
It's like near the mountains.
I know
Yeah, it's
exactly where
pretty
you're
pretty
talking
cool.
about. Um, I
Yeah,
think the Filipino Pia did a video on that, and she talked about it's one of the
yeah,
yeah,
she
yeah,
did.
it's one of the only places in the Philippines that has like really nice cool weather.
Cool weather, and that's what I want. I can't deal with all that
Yeah.
heat. Yeah, yeah, bro.
Hey, look. I was like I said, I was just there in May. I was
Mm,
there from the end of March all the way until the end of May. And I remember we would keep that air conditioner blowing in the house.
yeah.
And as soon
Sheesh.
as we stepped outside, as soon as we stepped outside, you immediately felt the humidity. You could
Yeah,
breathe it
yeah,
in. You can feel it. And
yeah.
it's just it's something you have to get used to. um,
That's true.
when I first went there, it was crazy for me, but the two times after that, I was fine because I was familiar with it and it didn't really bother me after that. But
Yeah.
that
Okay.
first time ain't no joke.
Let me ask you this. What do you think about the cuisine, the food? Yeah. How do you like the Filipino food?
So I love the Filipino food. I love
Okay.
so my wife, she is very she she comes from a family that knows how to cook. I mean, her mom
Awesome.
was a
Awesome.
chef, and she cooks real healthy for
Wow.
me. She makes sure it. I'm gonna tell you a story really quick. Um, when
Hmm.
I first got there to the Philippines, and we were maybe a week into me being there. We would go and we would walk because you know how it goes in the Philippines. You're gonna
Yeah.
get through
Mm.
or get by, in a grab,
Yeah.
a jeepney,
Hmm.
a trike, or you gonna ride those motorcycles. And I'm not riding
Yeah.
on the back of
Yeah. I'm
some
not riding the
motorcycle with a
motorcycles. No,
man.
I'm not
I'm
doing that.
not doing that. Yeah,
No, no, we're not doing that.
yeah. So, so so when we would ride, it would that we would be so tired. We would come in the door, and I remember she would walk in the door before me, and people that hear that, they would think, oh, she's being disrespectful. But no, she would literally move me out the way, get in the door before me, immediately sit on the
Wow.
bed, and then go and be like, come here, let me take your shoes off. She would take my shoes off, take my socks off, you know.
You're not getting that here in America.
No, you're not getting that here. I would she 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 would have to go to work at 2 o'clock in the morning. This woman would wake
Wow.
up at 12 at night, and she would prepare my food 12 at night to make sure that I had something
Mm.
to eat before she went to work. And women here will hear that and think slavery. That's what
She's
they hear.
crazy.
She's
Oh, she's
crazy.
crazy.
Why is she doing that? Why is she doing this for this man?
Yeah,
And you know what? When you have a man who is a good man and sees something like that, this man wants to be Superman for you. Um,
that's right. And they don't realize that, and that's the problem with American women.
mm-hmm.
If they realize that, if they do little things like that, they could get the world.
Yeah, yeah.
Huh?
I mean, when a woman is in her feminine, you activate the man's superpower. You
That's
give
right.
him the ability to, I'm going to go above and beyond for this woman.
Beyond. That's right.
You ask me for money, you don't even ask me for money.
No problem. You don't have to ask.
You don't even have to ask. You want me to go ahead and take out the trash? Simple. I already got that done. Uh,
Yep.
what do you want from me? Because at this point,
Yeah.
you've shown me who you are, so let me show you who I am. You know,
That's right.
uh, and I think women miss that point. I hear more and more, like you said, women are trying to, get more out of you without giving anything, and it's
Giving anything.
and it's that damn table. It's that dreaded table that we
It,
talk about.
yeah. Yeah. And then you know what makes it so bad? You have these women on YouTube, like what's the
Mm.
one lady, Sprinkle Sprinkle,
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say that.
and she is sickening, man.
I, look, she is out there telling women how to con men. She is telling women
Sad, bro.
what are we doing here? And
Yeah.
look, it would be one thing if this is like a Scandalous Women's Anonymous Club and they're not blasting it on the internet and allowing men to hear it. That would be one thing because they're being secretive about it and we don't know about it. But
Yeah.
you're showing us what you're doing too. So how are your plans and your schemes going to work on men that hear your plan? We know what your
Yeah.
plan is.
I thought it was just me. Yeah. We have access to your channel just like the women that you're trying to target to do
Right.
this nonsense.
It's like Cat Williams said. He said he was at one of the mansion parties and he said no. He said he was at a some kind of record labels or producer's house or whatever. And he said they do the drugs right in front of you. And he said he was talking to him. He was like, "Yeah, we're gonna have a real big show, and we're gonna make sure you get all this money." He said, "You know I can see you, right? You know I can see you, and that's how we feel. It's like, ladies, we can see you. We can see what you're doing. We're not dumb." And it's just, it's like, and then you get mad at us for peeping game. And it's
Well,
just it's ridiculous. I mean, but there are still
it's,
those men. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
no. You're right because I gave you another example. Another coworker of mine said he met a girl before they even went out on a date. She said, "Well, before we go out, I need somebody. I have to pay the babysitter for my daughter." So he said, "All right, no problem." So she said, "Just cash at me $100." And I said, "Dude, do you really cash up $100?" He said, "Man, Aaron ain't about nothing." I'm like, "No, bro,
Come on,
not doing
man.
that."
Yeah. I mean, just as a man, it if a woman is going to ask you that, that means she's not that into you.
No.
Because a woman that's into you, she's going to find a way. If she can't get a babysitter and she's really, really into you, she's gonna be like, "Hey, can we either do this tomorrow or you know what? You can even come over. We can have a movie night or something like that."
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but it's unfortunate that that is the state of our nation today, and
Yeah. Of America.
Yeah, and the another thing that's really bad about it is that we're not the only ones that are watching. Men from other countries are watching this too. And,
Yeah.
the last time I was over in the Philippines, I saw more and more B dubs than I ever have in the Philippines. And
Wow.
they were always in groups. Uh, and and they would always be by themselves.
Interesting.
They were always by themselves. I was over in Manila, and the first time I went there, I seen maybe like one group. It was like two girls. The last time I
Hmm.
was there, I seen like four or five groups, and they're always by themselves. They're not going over there um, finding relationships. They're not going over there, intermingling with families and stuff like that. They are going over there as tourists. And even if they do find a man, unfortunately, you know, the man is either going to treat them, or get with them because they want a green card, or
Yeah.
it's just going to
Yeah.
be a strictly sexual thing.
Yeah.
Why would a
Like
man?
Stella got a groove at.
Yeah, exactly. Why would a man who has more feminine women there date a woman who is not feminine? Um,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just he's not going to do it. Either he's
No.
curious and he wants to see, what that new thing feel like or whatever it is. And
Hmm.
that's you just made me think of something. That is literally colorism. That is literally colorism when a man goes,
That's correct.
I just I've never tried it before. I'm curious. I've never dated a black woman before. That's colorism, because they always
Yeah.
put that on us and say, "Oh, you going over there is colorism and whatnot." Another thing I wanted to ask you here: what is one of the intangibles that you would say for your fiance is something that you really appreciate about her, that just
Okay.
makes you go, oh, this is one of the main reasons why I I chose to marry you.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you one important thing that I like that she does. She calls me I say 3 or 4 times a day to check on me to see how I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna tell you one thing I like about her. I can call her anytime, 24 hours a day. She always picks up the phone,
Mm-hmm.
even audio call or video call.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, this is a good woman. Like she's faithful. I mean, uh, the, and she always looks out for me. Like always saying, did you eat? And to me, was
Mm-hmm.
never used to that. She asked me every day, did you eat breakfast? Did you eat lunch? Did you eat dinner?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, I get tired. Like, yes, babe.
Yeah.
Yes, I ate.
Oh, what did you eat? What did you eat?
Yeah, what did you eat? Yeah.
And that is a daily conversation. Look, I just got off the road, and my wife was like, "My husband, what did you eat? Did you eat
Yes.
healthy? What? Oh my God, I wish I was there. I wish I
Yeah, I
was
wish I
there,
was there.
baby."
Yep.
Yep. And then I don't know if you got this before, but that I used to always ask the women I was talking to from other countries before I met her.
Hmm.
I would always ask them. I would go, if we got married, where would you want to live? And I would always get the same answer. And you tell me if you've gotten this before. Wherever my husband goes,
Yeah.
wherever my husband
Yeah.
goes, it doesn't matter. Wherever he goes, I
Yeah.
will go. And
Hmm.
boy, that is. I don't think the foreign women really understand what's going on inside a man's
They don't.
brain when we
They
hear
don't.
that stuff.
They
Um,
don't.
it's a beautiful thing, and I tell you, ladies in the states, we don't hate you. It's not that
No, not at all.
our our preferences are have changed. Well, they kind of have changed because I have a new perspective now. No pun intended. I have a new perspective,
Hmm.
but I just think uh, the ladies here in the States, and particularly black women, because that's all I've dated in the past, is that
Yeah.
you guys have lost your way, and
Yeah.
the men are saying that you've lost your way. No disrespect intended. That's not what we're saying. But what we're saying is I don't know. I don't know, man. Like what? What do you say? What do you say in this?
But you know what? But you know what's so funny about it? They'll say when they see us date other women from different cultures. I'm not saying all black women,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of them. Oh, you're a sellout. Oh, you this and that. But when an African American woman dates a white guy or a foreigner, oh girl, go ahead.
Yeah.
Hey, you doing well. You done hit the jackpot.
Yeah.
But when it come to us, we're sellouts. Oh, your mama black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just we, like you said, and I think it's because when you see a man come from a two-parent household, they tend to have more standards for women. And I
True.
think that's troubling for women out there, because a lot of women didn't grow up with their fathers in the household.
They
So
haven't. No.
they don't have a clue on how to deal with a man who has those kind of faculties about him.
That's true. That's
And
true.
unfortunately, that disqualifies you for a lot of the good men that are out there, because you've never seen what a good man looks like, and
Yeah.
it is what it is. And also, they're not even attracted to those men. They're not even attracted to men like me in the first place. So we're good.
No.
We're
Yeah,
good
yeah,
with
that's
that
what I
piece.
said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause, yeah, they're not. So, yeah, I tell a couple of my friends, you can have them.
Yep.
You can have them. Man. And I'm gonna tell you one thing. I meant to say about another intangible about her. Another thing that I like is that me and her already talked about once we get married, she wants to come over here to get a degree in finance and move back to the Philippines. Her parents are getting older, and I want to have another child because my son is 17.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting ready. He's in his last year of high school. He's getting ready to go to college. And to me, I think having another baby, I think my child to be raised better in the Philippines because of the family structure
Mm-hmm.
and not all this nonsense with social media
Yep.
here in the States. Don't get me wrong, you have social media in the Philippines too,
Mm-hmm.
but you still had that family structure to pull them back in.
Mm-hmm.
You
There's a
know, a
balance.
lot of the youth here, they don't have that.
Yeah. There's
You
there's a
know,
balance.
yes,
Yeah. I agree with you, and I think too, Fins, if that's something that you're saying, about going back to the Philippines eventually, and then me going back to the Philippines as well, I can only imagine how many other men are already thinking the same thing as well
of
too.
course, of
Um,
course,
you know, uh, I'm
yeah,
sure there's going to be a lot of not only American men, but particularly men from New Zealand. I'm hearing a lot of men from New Zealand for some
yeah,
reason going over
yeah.
to
I've
the
been hearing that too.
Philippines. Um, I see a lot of men going over to Thailand. Shout out
Yeah,
to what
Richie
is it?
Mack.
Yeah, Richie Mack. Richie Mack be doing his thing, boy. Richie Mack be doing his thing.
Doing his thing, man.
Zoom to Thailand, yes, sir.
Doing the Thailand, yeah,
But
yeah.
another one that people are, I don't want to say they're sleeping on right now, but I know it's a quiet little secret, that is starting to pop up more and more. And
Vietnam.
man, get out my head, man.
I have a cousin of mine right now.
Get out my
He's living
head.
in Saigon. He just moved to Saigon like about 2 years ago. Yeah,
Wow.
no,
Okay. So there's Vietnam and there's one more. Let's see if you can name the other one.
uh, not Japan, right?
Not Japan. Japan is one, but Indonesia.
Indonesia. Okay, I thought you were gonna say Malaysia. Okay.
Malaysia too,
Indi-
but Indonesia.
Okay.
I've been able to talk to women over in Indonesia and actually start
Wow.
interviews and stuff. And man, it's like before when I first went over to the Philippines, I could not, and I'm hate that it sounded like this, but
Hmm.
initially I could not tell the difference. But when I stayed over there for less than a month, I was
Hmm.
able to determine, oh,
You
okay,
could tell the
that's
difference
you
between a
can,
South Korean, a Malaysian,
yes,
a Thailand,
yes, a
yeah,
Filipino,
Filipino.
you know
Yes.
the difference. You see it,
Yes.
and the
Yes.
culture is so strong that you can
Yes.
tell the difference between the different Asians. And you just, I be in an elevator, and that's another thing. They are really superstitious over in the Philippines. Did you notice that anytime you go in an elevator, they don't have the number 13 in there?
Yes.
Yeah.
And actually, my fiance brought that to my attention. And I said, I never thought about that. I said, babe, you're right.
Yeah, they do not have, they are serious about that number. They do not
Yeah.
have the number 13 in the elevators. They are not playing. Um
Mm.
but yeah. But yeah, it's just one of those things where you noticed that these women, not only are they different, but even I'll say this, even with the women over in the Philippines that are more modernized, they are
Hmm.
still
It's still better than the
exceptional.
women here.
Yes, they are still exceptional compared
Yeah.
to the women in the States. And it's because
Yes.
they still hold some kind of femininity about them.
Yes.
Now, in the next decade or so, I am worried.
That may
I'm worried.
change.
I'm worried. And, man will just have to find greener pastures. Or, maybe the men in the Philippines, will step up and be around in their families more. Not to say that they aren't, because they are, um,
Hmm.
but just essentially try to grab their culture back, because I know there's a lot going on in the Philippines, especially with the Catholic Church, and they're fighting right
Yeah.
now to stop the law changing where divorce is going to be legal, and that's going to
Yeah.
be a real big detriment. Um, I
Yeah.
personally think, I don't know about you, but I personally think that's going to be the downfall essentially of the society, because we know where it got us. So,
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. People here in America don't take marriage seriously. I
yeah.
tell you, I had a cousin that was in the Air Force. He married a girl and they moved to South Carolina. Bought a nice house, maybe like 6 years ago. And he's in special forces. I don't want to give his name out or anything like that.
Hmm.
But come to find out, when he was in a certain country, his wife sent him a video by mistake of him. She was just smashing all these different guys, man.
Man.
And he told me, Fins, he said, if I was there, he said, I don't know what I would have did to her. But once he got home, he filed for divorce, and now he wound up meeting a girl in Ecuador, and they've been together now for like a year. And he said, Aaron, he said, I would never date another American woman.
And
Uh,
unfortunately, that's
and he
going
was
to
married
be.
twice.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Was the
twice,
okay?
bro.
Yeah, yeah. That's unfortunate, because that's what I hear more and more from people, and I've even said this myself. I said, even if anything ever goes wrong with me and my wife, where I highly doubt it
Mm,
will, I will
no.
never date an American woman. And I'm not
Yeah,
talking
I'm done
about,
with American woman.
yeah, I just won't,
No,
man. I won't. And
no.
on that note, um, and unless you have anything else, Vince, because I don't want
Uh,
to take too much of your time up, man. I
no,
really
no, no. It's
appreciate you.
nothing, nothing. I was to say, man, I appreciate you having me on your podcast, man, and you're going to be doing big things, brother.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
hope so,
I can
man.
see it.
I think I want to make this a recurring thing where I actually get the perspective of men that have either traveled over to other countries or have either
Yeah.
are considering traveling over to other countries, because
Yeah.
we need their stories. Because more and more I hear women constantly saying, oh, you're just going over there, it's sex tourism, it's sex tourism.
Yeah. That's
But
ridiculous.
yeah, but when you
Ridiculous.
hear men like you know, saying, you know, no, we want family, we want structure, we want kids, you know, it 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 completely takes their statement and throws it in the trash, because
It
it,
throws in the trash, of course.
yeah, it's contrary to the truth, you
And
know.
don't get me
So
wrong. I know some guys that just travel to the Dominican Republic,
yeah,
Colombia, just for sex.
right,
And hey, that's their preference. I couldn't do it,
right.
but you
I
know,
mean,
hey,
and the reality is, if you wanted to do that, you can get that right here in the States.
you can do it right in the states. I never understood that.
Not a
Yeah,
problem.
I don't think I
So
never will.
the majority of men who are traveling, we're not saying that it doesn't happen, but the majority of the men who are traveling, they're not going over there for sex tourism. They're going over there,
They're
they're
not
looking for
for
families.
companionship.
Yeah, they're looking for companionship. They're not even, and I hear all the time they say, we're looking for a slave. We're looking for a slave, man. That's
Yeah, yeah. I get so sick of hearing that. Yeah, I
we're
get
not
sick.
looking for slaves, man.
Nobody's looking for slaves. No.
I'm just looking for somebody who's going to value me the same way I value them. That's it.
Yep.
That's
That's
it.
it. That's the bottom line. Simple as black and white.